Hello, this is James Robinson coming at you again on YouTube. My YouTube channel is James Robinson. Subscribe to it. I'm going to get on a subject, and it's a hot subject. I've done a few videos on it so far, and it's about white privilege. First of all, white privilege doesn't exist. It only exists in status. And if you are a Caucasian person and you have been benefiting from white privilege based off your skin tone and your ethnicity, those days are over. They're gone, not to come back anymore. Okay? So get used to it, get over it, and get on with the program like everybody else. Let's go back to what white privilege really meant in the past and white status. In the beginning of this country, yes, Caucasian people of European descent were privileged because of their skin color. That lasted up until 1868, when the 14th Amendment was brought into existence, which the 14th Amendment basically has never been completed. But what I'm saying here is that in 1868, Caucasian people, pale-skinned people, and people of indigenous and African descent, which is dark skin, became one and the same. Slaves, voluntary slaves to the corporation called the United States government, which means that your skin tone doesn't mean anything. But wait a minute, I know people are going to say, well, wait, Jim Crow and all this other stuff, Reconstruction, and then you had the Civil Rights era, you had women's suffrage before that, and all that was based off of skin color. Yes, but see, understand that everything is steps. Everything is step 1, 2, 3. You got to go from A, B, C. You can't go from A to C. You got to go to B2. It was a plan, a well thought out plan that they was going to get to the point when one day that all masses, subordinate masses, insubordinate masses, had no money exchange, which is their complexion. Our complexion, our skin has been a money exchange. Hasn't meant anything. Our status is what counts. So when you call yourself a black person, that's illegal. That's a legal construct. An illegal construct. It's not real. It has no bearing. And also, if you are a pale-skinned person and you go by the status of white because of that, that has no status. People come into this country every day from all over the earth and claim status of being white. Hispanics do it, Arabs do it, Africans do it, Indians do it. White. That means that they have adopted the status. This is what's running most Caucasians crazy. They're not having a problem with them existing as far as their skin color, their ethnicity, but their ethnicity is tied to their status. White privilege is a status. That means that you no longer get the privileges that you once did. That you no longer are connected to that based off of skin color alone. It's gone beyond that. Your complexion and your ethnicity as far as your culture doesn't matter anymore. And that's what's bothering them. What's bothering Caucasian people are that they're not going to be looked upon as the shining knight, as the sun, as gold and silver. They're not going to be looked upon as the status that all men and women are looking to gain and become. It doesn't work that way anymore. And they're having a problem because they're being misplaced because there's no more use for so-called race as far as being connected to skin color anymore in the New World Order. The New World Order doesn't need that. The people that really have the money don't care anything about race, never did. They use white people, or what you call white people, for their benefit. They used them. They knew what they were doing when they did this. Like they used black people, so-called black people. They used people against each other. And now you got this alt-right bunch of this shit that don't mean nothing. They're not going to be successful. They're not going to be successful because there's no way that what they're trying to do is going to happen. You're not going backwards. The United States is not going back to yesterday. Just get that in your empty heads, okay? No matter what you do, no matter what you say, hey, throw the insults out there if you want to. That's fine. Everybody got a right to insult whoever they want to. Feel however they want to feel. But at the end of the day, your BS is just BS. You're not going to get America back because you never owned it in the first place. America never belonged to Caucasian people. It never belonged to black people. America is a multinational, international conglomerate that began as that, has been run as that, and its future is of that. America was never to be a European nation, never to be an African nation. America was always to be a nation of people internationally. America owes its debt and its existence to the international community. The United States, I should say, along with America, because America is the country that it occupies. And as the United States goes, so does America. So trying to say that America is going to be isolated from the rest of the world, you're fooling yourself. You need to understand, you need to go study some, because you don't know what you're talking about. White status, white privilege doesn't belong to so-called white people. Not anymore. Get over it. Get used to it. Cry if you want to. You're not going to be extinct as far as a people in a culture setting, but you are being misplaced and replaced as far as a people that has used the status of being white. I wouldn't call myself white if I was you. You're not white. Don't call yourself black. Those are colors. They're status. They have no bearing on your ethnicity as far as your culture or your topography or your geography. It has nothing to do with that. Never did. But it was used for a while in order to lasso people in and to pit people against each other so they would never know who the real enemy is. All these so-called white nationalists and black nationalists and white supremacists and black supremacists, you're fools. You're dumb. You're stupid. Get a life. You don't have no power. You have none. The country don't belong to you. You're uneducated. You're being led by blind men. You're being fooled. You're being played like a chess game. You're on a chessboard. You don't have no power. You can follow Richard Spencer if you want to, and Jared Taylor. Follow them. Hey, there have been people like that around since the beginning of this nation. And they're going to still be people like that around. They don't serve no purpose. They have no ammunition. And they're not going to lead you anywhere except down a long, dark road facing ignorance and death. That's all. The same with the Nation of Islam. The same with Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and all these people. They're not going to help you. We are pawns in the game. We've been played. And we're being used. And we're being schooled. While the elites know what they got going on, you're not going to touch them with this BS. They have the military at your front door tomorrow. And that goes for you too, Jared Taylor, Richard Spencer, and all the rest of your cohorts. The same goes for the so-called black people too, and their leaders. Okay? You don't have any power. Your only power that you have is to unify with each other and share that BS, or that white supremacy mess, and that black supremacy mess, and that black consciousness mess, and that we were kings mess, and let's make America white again. Make America white again. America has always been white, status-wise. That's what it's all about, status. Doesn't mean anything about color. It's about status. You need to know what you're talking about when you're doing these speeches and you're protesting. Understand what you're talking about, because if you don't know what you're talking about, you end up looking like a damn fool. And yes, you can quote all the statistics and all that stuff. Don't matter. At the end of the day, none of that stuff that you're talking about is going to happen. You're not going to get America back because you never owned it in the first place. Unless you know what being American is. That's having status and having human rights. And the masses in this country don't have human rights. I say it again, don't have human rights. The difference between the Caucasian and the indigenous and African American, or what do you want to call it, the difference between the two is that the Caucasian has civil liberties. The others, the African American, has civil rights. But neither one of them have human rights. Human rights belong to those that control the land, the politics,